Well, good evening. I'm Robert A. Wilson with Cowboy Wisdom. I'm a hypnotherapist, NLP practitioner, published author of books like Fear is My Friend, Flow and the Go, I Approve of Me, Myself, and I Am Wisdom, How Did I Teach Myself Fear, Dissolve Pleasing Others. And they're all available at amazon.com/author/Robert A. Wilson and and at howdiditeachmyselffear.com. But tonight I want to talk about something I have been dodging for a long time, and that is anger. Because I thought getting angry would solve all my problems. I really, really did. And anger is the biggest weakness I've ever encountered. And it has the most power, porous power that you'll ever have. Because once anger enters your mind, it takes over. So as I open up to this and admit to this, I allow myself to become free. Because how did you use anger as a child to get your way? And I thought by getting mad and pouting, people would leave, but all I was being a silly fool, big baby is all I was. It's really about understanding anger has never, ever done anything to the world. There is a power that there's a power right before the anger where it's a stalwart savvy that comes forth to really admit and get what is going on. But it's about dissolving everything in life. We're trying to expand out of it. We're trying to let go of it. We're trying to do something all the time. But we become angry and frustrated because we never deal with the memory. And we never deal with the now. We try to do it in the past where it is. Then we try to forgive people. And when you're forgiving people, you're actually stuck in the memory of it. If you can let go of the memory by appreciating the experience because it opened up to something else, but we're also afraid of what is going on that we never understand. Life is going to show us a better way when we're willing to play. There's the key word, willing to play. Because life is never going to be as simple and easy as we think it will be. Life is always going to be a messy challenge to channel harmonious acumen, naturally galvanizing everyday nirvana, expanding through life. We are so caught up in the world today, and all we can think about is getting angry. I'll get mad, by God, and I think everybody should be scared of me when I'm mad. Well, when you're mad, you're just a saddened fool looking like a doopity-doo drooling fool. And that's all you are. And I've done that so many times, it's unbelievable. But I really have to come forth and take a 360 here because people dodge admitting their anger and their anger issues. And my anger started as I was a child because I really emulated my mom and dad in a lot of ways in the society because everybody said, well, you made him mad. Well, if you make somebody mad, that's not because I did it. The only one that can make me mad is me. Who can ever be the selfish fool and make myself mad is me. And whoever can fall prey to their own anger is always somebody that's going to be pandering and toxicity with an acid attitude. Because fear, all anger is a protection mechanism and trying to get people to change their mind and be your way. So as I open my eyes to the inner wise, I waltz internally seeing epiphanies on how I allowed anger to control me. You never control anger. Anger will forever control you. Intestinal fortitude with a little fiery foresight. Now you can energize that and move forward. But I pandered in anger. I really, really did. This is a confession into my liberation all in one time here tonight. But the core of me, I'd let anger control my life, and I'd be a tormented troll trying to expand through life, and that is what the anger issues were. But as I expand through this and start the admitting that I allowed anger to control me, I let go of the weakness of anger at the same time. Because anger is just a false sense of nothing. That's what it is. It's zilch, belching bullshit is all it is. So as I move forward and go on with life, I open my eyes and open my ears to hear my inner self. Because every time you get angry, your inner self tells you to calm down, but you never listen. I know I never do, never have, but I really desire to. But now I'm opening the path for recipients to dance with my issues. But now that I've admitted it and really going through it, right? I've got it all made. No. Here's the thing about life expanding experiences. I've got test upon test upon test in my everyday life to see where I've really expanded into, whether I've expanded out of it and in my prowess and abilities, or am I stuck in the pandering anger that makes me a toddler, a crybaby, basically. That's all anger is being a crybaby. And people think by getting mad, they're really doing something. Every time I've gotten mad, I've had to eat a whole bunch of humble pie, and it always tastes like shit. It really does. I admit putting it out there honest tonight. And I've ate my share of humble pie, but I never died. I had to do a lot of deep soul searching, and that's all this is about, is my showing you that it's all right to do some deep soul searching when it comes to anger. Because pandering anger just is an asinine, nullifying everything in life. Because life is going to test me every day to see whether I want to expand or I want to contract and get angry. In anger, I contract. Humility, I expand. It's being willing to listen and ride the storm to see today's omnific reveries, majestically maturing through life. Because I realize this, everybody grows up and gets older, but do we mature with the moxie and everything to expand of life? Because everyday life is a liberation when we quit pandering to our own stuff. And that is what I've been doing. I'm pandering to my selfishness. Anger panders to my selfishness. And I was selfish, still am. But am I expanding out of it? Yes. Because selfishness is never thinking there's more. And that's where it was, because it's mine. And that is pining for poverty. And that's all that is. And that is where I got stuck, is in pining for poverty. Thinking I was doing something, but I was always in something that was never the thing to expand me forward. So as I open up to my weakness and my anger issues, anger is just an asinine, nullifying everything. It's just a gaff of bluff. When people are angry, trying to get something their way, they're actually trying to look for sympathy, and they're trying to get the other person to show weakness. But actually, the person in anger is forever weak. And they're always trying to sneak through something. But when you're angry, you're going to do things you'll never do in a normal world. And I've done a lot, especially in relationships. That is the thing. People get mad in relationships because the other person didn't do as they want. But that isn't what a relationship is about. Relationship is about communication for the highest outcome of both on the same path. Because in a relationship, there's three paths. There's the man's, the woman's, and theirs together. And they all gotta not fit in, but they all gotta have a forward step. And one's gotta have the respect and admiration of the other. That is something I didn't do in my first marriage. I can say that because I had to be right. When you have to be right, you're in the blight of night, and you're always nullifying internal gall, living a horrifying story today. That's all anger and all this stuff is. And you hear this, oh, that guy got mad. Well, has anybody ever got mad and won anything? But now there's a difference between anger and having the veracity to step forward and speak your mind without letting the anger control you. Because anger is controlling. Fiery foresight facilitating your life is a brightness that allow you to shine your inner divine and open your eyes to your whys and dance your life. But I used anger to try to make people think I was a tough guy. I'm not a tough guy, because everything is invisible is tougher than me. Look at that. Can you see? Like, you look at all the things that are invisible in the world with the most power. Who wins and who loses, and what you see, how many times has that been empowering? But it's really all starts from the invisible. But it's having the invincible ingenuity to trust the invisible. That is where life becomes entertaining, especially for me, because I come from the middle 50s. I was coming out of the Depression, and none of all this spiritual stuff was really very much alive or very much known in the world. But now it's getting more known and more expansive in the world. People are starting to see the power of invisible reveries expanding through life. So as I move forward, and I'm really starting to play with life, I'm starting to understand life will allow me to expand, because nothing is cast in stone in the real world. Everything is never cast in a stone. Everything is like a ripple in the water. It's forever moving forward. That is where I'm becoming more attuned to it, but don't have a long expansion. Yes, because I really had to let go of everything I was taught. And if you really look at what we've been taught to stay inside what we know. And inside a system, it's just a system of knowing, but it's also a system of history. And we need to stay inside the history is where we really become stuck in yesterday. Because the spiritual world, or the spiritual savoir-faire within everybody, is a daring dance to enhance your walk of life. But it's really letting go of thinking we have to get mad and we have to live in the warmongering ways that we've been taught. And I admit, I have been taught that, and I have used that most of my life. Am I opening up to get better? Yes. It's going to be an interesting voyage of visionary optimism. Yesing, appreciating generous epiphanies, but it's a genre of new music that I play within myself. It's about letting go of thinking I got this world under control, because there is no such thing as control. There is participating and facilitating the mess that life shows us. When I mean a mess, it's just there's nothing perfect in life. And as soon as I let go of thinking I was perfect and I was doing everything perfect, I opened up to a new recipients of entertaining success within myself, because I feel the blessing of my own brilliance, lionizing everyday savvy, seeing internal new gumption arise, because I was willing to accept and appreciate the challenge that life was putting forth. And as I go through this of letting go of the anger within me and using anger to try to control my life and try to get my way in life, I open up a new thriving temerity to marry my spiritual supremacy with my material world magnificence, and to see where my eternal world opens up for me to experience my dreams, desired life, and moneyed up accomplished outcome. How does selfishness and anger stop the flow of prosperity and peace within everybody? Where do people get stuck in the muck of yesterday? Because they're trying to be angry and really letting go of everything. And I can admit to anger, because, people that have anger issues like I do against anything, and that is something that and really anger comes from my egotistical know-it-all and my conceded control, that I thought I had to be large and in charge of my life, and the only thing I was large and in charge of was nothing, was an open space of nothing. And the more you understand, anger is an antagonizing nothingness, generating everyday rancor within us, because anger is nothing more than an egotistical sabotage of our own life. And that's where I experienced it. I've done it, and I admit it. But it's also about dissolving things, because anger sometimes brings out opens the locked doors, and unlocks my inner cells of hell that I go through. And I've done that. But see, we lock ourselves in an anger prison because we want to be on top of the world. We want everything, and I wanted everything, and I wanted it easy, and I wanted it quick. That was my delusional despair through life, because life is it's a movie of magnificence, or it's a movie of malice. It's up to me to experience the way I desire. But once I stop being stuck in the muck, I could duck the anger and open up the awesome new genius expanding riches within myself. Because anger is nothing more than me being in a flux of dysfunctional emotions and fermented feelings, because I want to get that out there. I want people to know I'm in pain, and that's all anger is showing somebody that I'm in pain. And they're laughing at me, because that's what their job was, is to laugh at anger. But that's the thing. Anger is nothing more than me letting go of my inner pain through anger. But I kept the anger inside, because I embedded that image, I embedded that feeling, I embedded that emotion, and I embedded that thought. So it always come up at the wrong time, in the wrong way, and I went through the world in a dismayed way. Today, and it started today, but I brought it into my daring aware brain power to understand that the world is going to test me now like it's never tested me before. But I'm going to soar through the test because I tantalize expanding stout-hearted tenacity to understand my heart and soul and core are larger and stronger and more prolific than any anger issue I have within myself. But it's to stop thinking that if I get mad, the world will change. Start to understand if I listen and express wisdom, innovation, and talent, the world will listen and respect me more. People disrespect angry people. They really do. I know I do. I get angry and then I make fun of somebody that does, so it made me look all that wise, did it? But today, I open my eyes of wise to willingly invigorate splendor every day. And with that, I'm going to say good night, and we'll be here Thursday night. It's going to be about how I was taught to stay inside. I was taught what everybody else wanted me to know, and I was afraid to let go and trust my own abilities. That's where another part of the anger is, because you want to know, and when you don't, you get angry. I know I did, still do. So anyway, now with a new ado, we're going to awesomely dance optimism through life. And with that, I say good night, and may your life always be blessed. And it's Memorial Day coming up, and it's hard to believe how fast this year is going. So with that, we're going to be angry-free, feeling rich, energized, and expanded tonight and tomorrow and forevermore. And good night.